Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Chtib Zhang Show, episode 44. In today's episode, Eric, it's been a long wait, but finally we get to not recap, we get to give our predictions for a very anticipated UFC 268. Before that, we're also going to give our reactions to UFC 267 because I don't know about you, but I have quite a few. And yes, that's basically it. But as always, before we jump into the video, let's get to the sponsor, which is Hot Streak Fantasy, the best in play fantasy app on the market. Pick 2 to 3 players in the MLB, NBA, NFL right now, and watch them make you some money. Watch your favorite teams. Like I said, watch your favorite teams and watch them make you some money. Hot Streak is matching your initial deposit a bonus. So when you use promo code Hot Sauce, get Hot Streak Fantasy app now every week. Quick, easy way for betting money on your favorite sports. So get Hot Streak Fantasy app now. But Eric, as always, before we jump into it, roll it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Chtib Zhang Show, episode 44. In today's episode, it is UFC 268, Usman versus Colby Covington, and we'll be talking about some of the fights on the main card. But Eric, before that, let's talk about UFC 267. That's happened this weekend. We did an episode on it. I think most of our predictions were right. Well, I mean, UFC, it's quite like it's heavy favorited most of the time. But the one fight, which mattered the most, the title fight, where I took Jan Blachowicz, but you didn't make a prediction because you like to stay safe. You don't want to be on the bad side of anyone. But you didn't make a prediction. So I look like the idiot here, whereas you say fine. But you did say during the fight you had Teixeira by submission before the fight started. But
I did say that, but it doesn't, obviously it's not on tape.
You didn't put your money where your mouth was. If you did, you would have made some money. But yes, Glover Teixeira, Eric, upsets Jan Blachowicz at UFC 267. Believe it was second round finish, rear naked choke. So wow, Eric, we knew Teixeira was probably going to try and bring it to the ground. That's his strongest point, but we didn't know it was going to be so easy for him. And exactly. I really thought Jan with that defense, that takedown defense, was going to be able, like he expected it, but for some reason he like in that first round he didn't really look like himself usually when the fight starts. So he got taken down pretty easily, in my opinion, by Glover Teixeira. And then first round he was all on top of him, got him extremely tired, and he was doing that weird head thing, which I haven't seen yet in the UFC, where you pull their head forward basically, and they're like suffocated in your pecs or anything like that. I don't know. It seemed painful. Sherry gets up, tells him, listen, you won round one, all jokes and stuff. And then second round, you saw Jan kind of with the striking, and you could tell he's throwing some nice combos, and then he got taken down again. He got took down against the octagon fence, where you don't want to be taken down. You know how important that is for submission artists. You know how much they love it up against that fence. So, and then he took him down, got around his back, and then finished him with a rear naked choke pretty easily. Had him right there. Didn't even have to go back with him or anything. Fall back on his back. He just had it squeezed. Jan felt it tap. Glover Teixeira is the new light heavyweight champion. Eric, I mean, you were surprised, right?
Yeah, I was surprised for sure. Yeah, like Glover's a huge, especially when you talk about betting wise, huge underdog.
Yep.
But realistically, going into this fight, if you watched both their past, you could see, because Jan, I was looking at some numbers before the fight, in terms of he has a tough time against real good wrestlers. So he gets taken down, not that easily, but because he won his last 9 out of 10 fights.
Yeah.
So but before that he was getting taken. So a lot of us thought, by improve, he's shown that he's improved. He's fought some really good fighters and he's beating them, good wrestlers, and he's beating them. But Glover, you gotta respect Glover, man. This guy, his last 3 fights beat Anthony Smith, Thiago Santos, and bro, those are big. Those are hard. And he was a huge underdog in all 3 of those fights, especially in the Anthony Smith fight. And those guys are hey, they can wrestle too. They can take like they're good on the ground too.
Yep.
So it was very surprising that he was able to literally like beat up all three of those guys, especially and coming into this fight like, and especially at 42 years old too, you wouldn't expect that at that age either.
Exactly.
So going to this fight, like I'd say I probably had it closer to 50-50, just because of Glover Teixeira's takedown. And I knew like Glover was not gonna give up. Like he's shown in so many fights, he gets punched in the face, whatever. He was not gonna give up. And to me, it was so much like I didn't know it was gonna be that easy. Like Yan didn't really like he didn't bring much. Like Yan, like usually Yang, especially against Dominic Reyes, like brought the fight, like hit him super hard. But hey, respect to Glover Teixeira, he took him down, stuck to the game plan, and got the finish.
That's why I'm weird. Like you mentioned the 9 fights Yan won and stuff like that, and you mentioned how he's fought some really good wrestlers. And so I really expected this fight. Like Yan was gonna go into it knowing that Glover was gonna try and take him down, and I knew how good that defense was, and so I expected, listen, Yan's gonna beat him on the while striking on the feet, and then listen, if he tries to shoot for a takedown, he'll try and fight as best as he could, but he got took down clean, couldn't get back up at all, and then Teixeira trying to get that belt through naked choke, crazy. A second round fight. I was watching that live. I was freaking out. I called you after. It was pretty insane. But besides that, I think most of our predictions were right. Islam Makhachev turned Dan Hooker into the human spider, pretty much. Exactly. What that looked like, with the leg over the head, the Kimura. Yeah. And he got that arm to bend. He was gonna break his arm. He was bending that arm. Dan, I mean, first round, instantly went to ground. I mean, that fight was that's insane. Guys like him, Chimaev against the Leech look like an amateur against some of these guys. These submission artists are just too dangerous.
They get the job done. They get the
dangerous
job done.
For strikers, I feel like. So here's my question: we have Makhachev. Now wants to fight anybody, either title number 1. So who knows what the plans are right now? Gaiji, we're gonna get to Chandler Gaiji, but they're trying to get a title shot with whoever wins that fight. And so we'll see what happens with Makhachev. Same thing with Hazmat. Chimaev beats the Leech. Who knows when he's gonna get a welterweight title shot? I think he's a bit far off, but how far do you think he is away from getting that shot?
So for Hamzat, I'd say Dana said he's gonna fight a top 10, top 5 guy next. I think either in 1 or 2. If he wins his next 2 fights, guaranteed title shot, especially if they're both top 10, top 5 guys. And if he fights top 5 like a Leon or someone, or Gilbert Burns, Vincente Luque, one of those guys, and beats them, like, hey, he could definitely be next for the title.
I think he's 1 fight away. Honestly, the hype right now surrounding him, and we know Dana White. We know Dana White loves putting those dream matchups together. I honestly think the guy is 1 fight away. Just needs to face a top 5, and if he wins,
but dominate,
yes. Because right now he's ranked 5th. He's jumped straight up to the 5th ranking in the welterweight division. So either, who knows about Vincente Luque? He doesn't have a scheduled fight coming up. Gilbert Burns, who knows who he wants to fight next? He probably wants a title shot somewhere too. Leon Edwards, Masvidal. I mean, there's some options for Chimaev here to pick from and get that title shot.
But they're gonna give him they're gonna give him a grappler for sure, because he's tested himself. Like Lee, who's a very good striker and who's a respectable welterweight, who's beating some very good guys. So that's why once he beat Lee and destroyed him, everyone's like, okay, we got now.
So maybe a Vincente Luque then would
be amazing. Ideal. That would be a very good fight. Yeah.
I mean, the guy keeps on rolling, dominant fashion, and I think he's 1 away from that title shot.
But I don't think it's a risky fight for Vincente Luque, I find, because
someone's got to fight him. I mean, the guy's 5th now. You can't say like he's 4-0. He's faced 4 people in the UFC. He's 10-0 overall in this fighting career. So, I mean, he's 5th now. There's no excuses.
Not a lot of people are gonna want to fight him. Not a lot of people are gonna want to fight him, because fighting like the way he fights, like his grappling, like. He's too good.
Well, eventually he's gonna have to fight someone.
Exactly.
I mean, someone good, because he's, they're not just gonna decline. Eventually, Dana White's gonna put things into motion, but that's gonna be interesting to look for. Yeah, exactly. So, Islam Chimaev. Who else fought?
Pierre Yan versus
Oh
Sanhagen.
yeah, Sandhagen. That was a good fight. That was a great fight.
Mhm.
Yeah, Shorter Yang just Shorter Yang is so good that he's so willing to throw the first round to learn an
Yeah.
opponent's tendencies. I mean, that's exactly what he did versus Sandhagen. Didn't fight back at all in the first round,
Mhm.
lost it. And I think he did. He knew he did. Well, he didn't know, but I believe he did it on purpose just to learn Sandhagen's tendencies and moves and stuff like that. And then third, fourth, fifth dominated. Second was kind of like even you can make your case, but I think
It's
Yan
crazy
even
because
won the
I was
second.
looking at the numbers. If you look at the numbers wise, Sanhagen actually total significant strikes in the whole fight actually outstruck Pierre Yan. But obviously, if you dissect it
Yeah.
by round, Pierre Yan completely destroyed him in the
Yeah.
third, fourth, and fifth. And man, yo, I was looking at there's that one like highlight. It's like he hits him with a spinning back.
Yeah.
Spinning
The
back.
punch, and the spinning heel kick to the face. And then Sandhagen said, "Oh yeah," and then run for the jumping knee.
Because Pierre Yan's just like a very like he's sturdy. He's like when he fights, he's sturdy. Like doesn't get taken. Like he's just like very like I don't know. He's like a solid. He's perfect for.
He didn't. Well, he didn't have to use his wrestling as much. That was just a fight basically on the feet, and they traded. But Yan is just so technical, and we're gonna get to some technical fighters here in UFC 268. But yeah, the technical, like if you have technical striking, I don't know, gives you
great takedown defense.
Great takedown defense. There's a lot of those guys. Every division has, Piotr Yang or Volkanovski and stuff like that, or Shevchenko in the women's or anyway. It's so technical and they dominate their own division. So that's what he's going to keep doing. Yang. Now he's going to fight Sterling, hopefully become champion, and then we can get done with this freaking nonsense of the bantamweight division right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, great card. UFC 267, very exciting stuff. But let's move on to UFC 268 happening this weekend, November 5th. I think it's Madison Square Garden. No, I forget. Anyway, next week or this, so something like that. Madison Square Garden, MSG. We have the very much anticipated rematch between Kamaru Usman and Colby Covington. Before we get to that fight, of course, let's dissect the main card. And Eric, the main card is, I would say UFC 269 probably has a deeper card than UFC 268, but obviously 268 has the big fights that everyone's waiting for because on the main card in UFC 268, we have Chandler, Gaiji, Zhang, Namajunas, Usman, Covington, and at the bottom we have Frankie Edgar versus Marlon Vera, and Shane Burgos versus Bill Quarandillo, who was a Ultimate Fighter finalist on season 22, and he's ascending now, and he got this shot because I've never seen him fight, so they got this shot, Shane Burgos and them on the main card, whereas Bobby Green and Quinta are on the not on it. But let's get to some of the fights here, Eric. Man, what fight do you want to talk to about? Shane Burgos or Frankie Edgar versus Marlon Vera? Shane Burgos.
Frankie Edgar. I don't know much about the.
Well, here this was Shane Burgos, under 200 favorite. Bill Quarandillo is a over 160. He's underdog. Looked at some of the stuff online, what people were saying, and Shane. Apparently, these two are going to trade, but in the striking department, Shane Burgos will take it. But Eric, why don't we jump to a fight, the next fight after Frankie Edgar versus Marlon Vera? Some of those guys. Who do you like in that fight?
So yeah, obviously you can start with Frankie Edgar, who's an ex-champ, one of a very probably. He's definitely in probably a top 50 all-time UFC fighters. Great vet. He's on the older side now, but great vet. If you just listening to some of the fighters he's fought because he's a little he's fought BJ Penn.
He's 40 now, I believe.
Yeah, he's old. He fought BJ Penn 3 times. Charles Oliveira, he beat Charles Oliveira. He fought Jose Aldo. He beat Chad Mendes. He beat UR Faber, and more recently. Obviously, he has fights he lost to Ortega, he lost to Max Holloway, he lost to Chang. He beat Pedro Munoz, who's a good fighter. And his last fight actually got completely KO'd by Corey Sandhagen with a flying knee. But hey, Frankie Edgar is still, I don't know why he Marlon Vera is obviously a very good fighter too, but Frankie Edgar, he's still a very, very decent fighter. And before, if he beat Sandhagen, he was up for for a title shot. But obviously, Corey Sandhagen caught him with that flying knee.
Yeah.
But in this fight, I'd probably take, obviously Marlon Vera is a very good fighter too in his own respect. He beat he's the first one to beat Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley would disagree, say, oh, because he kicked him on like a nerve or something, and then he got his foot paralyzed, and then Sean O'Malley blamed it on but whatever. He still beat Sean O'Malley, and he's a very good fighter. So in this fight, I'd probably take Frankie Edgar just because he's a vet. The quality of fighters he's beaten is way above any fighter that Marlon Vera has fought. Obviously, like Marlon Vera,
he's got the wrestling aspect to his game too. Frankie Edgar.
Exactly. Well, Frankie Edgar, in terms of bantamweight, this guy is so like obviously he's not on the level of Sandhagen or like Pure, not on that level, but he's one tier below, just there. Marlon Vera, Marlon Vera he fought Jose Aldo, which was a very close fight, and then he lost that by unanimous decision. Was a very close fight, and then he beat Davy Grant in his last fight. By dominant fashion. So in this one, Frankie Edgar, just because like I didn't really analyze this fight. Most of these fight like Marlon Vera, Frankie Edgar, like I would say
this: Frankie Edgar is the favorite heading into his fight. He's over 145. Marlon Vera is under 165. Favorite. So he's an underdog going in. So if you're looking to make some extra cash or anything like Frankie Edgar, if you want to put him in a parlay or anything, we'll get to a creative parlay, maybe UFC 268 if we want to give our own parlays. But Frankie Edgar, I'd say the boxing gives him the edge over Marlon Vera, and he'll be able to control the game from there.
Exactly.
But let's get actually going here with big fights, because people want to hear that. So Michael Chandler versus Justin Gaethje. These guys are looking to get back to that, not get back, but are looking for the number one ranking in their division, the lightweight division. As we know, Justin Gaethje lost his last fight versus who was then the champion, Khabib Nurmagomedov. How do you say Khabib's last name? Nurmagomedov. Anyway, I don't know. Khabib. He lost to Khabib. Michael Chandler. Who did he? Michael Chandler.
No, he lost to Charles Oliveira.
Charles Oliveira, he lost to, and now these two are going to be facing off for that number one spot. So, the highlight: Justin Gaethje versus Michael Chandler. Chandler only is on 1-1 in his UFC career. Gaethje's 5-3. Gaethje's actually obviously the favorite. He's under 200 right now. Chandler's at over 160. Yeah. So, Eric, who do you like? Very similar fighters. So who do you like in this fight?
Very similar fighters. So both fighters, they came from a wrestling background. So like in NCAA, they're wrestlers, and then obviously because it's a very common thing to do, go from wrestling to the UFC, because that's like but they don't even wrestle that much. Just once you have that wrestling background, you won't get taken down as easily. But obviously the wrestling in the States is not as good as the Khabib wrestling, right? Obviously,
and Dagestan.
Exactly. Khabib showed that against Justin Gaethje. So I'm so excited to see Justin Gaethje fight again, because all of his fights end in some kind of like crazy fashion. Either he gets finished or he finishes someone, or it's absolute war. But so does Michael Chandler's fight. Like Michael Chandler, because before he joined UFC, like he was the best fighter that was not in the UFC. So he was amazing in Bellator. He dominated, and then he came to the UFC, and he joined the UFC in January, I believe, and he was actually the backup fighter for the Conor versus. He was the backup fighter for the Conor versus Dustin, the first one. He was a backup fighter. That obviously no one missed weight about it. So whatever. And then after he fought Dan Hooker, was on the undercard. Oh no, he was actually he was a backup fighter for Justin. Yeah, he was a backup fighter for Justin Gaethje versus Khabib initially. So it's kind of funny. So if someone was gonna miss weight, Michael Chandler was gonna
get a title shot.
It's kind of crazy for his UFC debut. But and then after he was on the Dustin and Conor undercard, and then he beat Dan Hooker in crazy fashion. Got the title shot, which was ridiculous. He was this close from getting the title.
In the first round, that close.
He almost had him. So that's why, I like Michael Chandler, but Justin Gaethje, man, he's just a beast. He knows how to fight. It's gonna be an absolute war. Like
Yeah.
I don't expect anything else. So like I want to hear who you're going with, and then I'll.
Why you're not gonna give another prediction this
No,
time?
I will give a prediction actually.
Listen, if I have to dissect this fight, like you said, very similar fighters. Actually, both fighters. Well, Michael Chandler said, "Listen, once this fight starts, first person to back away or take a
Exactly.
step back, pretty much loses whatever it is," as he said.
Mhm.
So, who do you think is actually going to take the first step back?
Oh, but
Because if
Justin
Chandler
Gaethje,
is serious
Gaethje
enough,
doesn't care. Yeah,
I mean, they
Gaethje's
don't
taking
care.
it.
Gaethje doesn't care, yeah. So you think he'll just take the step back anyway?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter because Gaethje, like we said, had that wrestling background. It has transitioned really into that striking game for Gaethje, the knockout artist. But I think the edge goes to Justin Gaethje just because his kicks are way better than Michael Chandler. The way he utilizes his kicks, they're both good at striking. The fight's going to be a barn burner. They're going to go back and forth. But I think Justin Gaethje with the legs, and he's going to try and use that as an advantage because they're really strong. And Khabib has said it himself, like those leg kicks to the calf that he was getting from Gaethje are some of the hardest he's ever felt in his career. So look for that. And I think that's what's going to give him the edge and the extra points or whatever. Now, is this fight going to end in decision or someone getting their ass knocked out? I don't know. That I cannot answer. But if I were to bet money on something, probably Gaethje knockout.
Yeah, you bet on Gaethje knockout.
I mean, if you want to make some money here, because what are the chances it goes? I mean, it could go decision, but
I think it could go decision.
But it is going to be a barn burner, in my opinion. They're gonna, yeah, you think, but you never know. So if that's a bet I'm looking at, is that knockout by Justin Gaethje.
Because for me, by looking at this, is like, I think it should be 50. I think
for sure.
the bet should be 50-50. Because if you look at it, the only thing with Michael Chandler is against Oliveira, who's not really a striker. Oliveira knocked him out, so that chin's a little sensitive. So
yeah.
And on the other hand, you have Justin Gaethje, who has a chin made of fucking
he's
steel.
gonna catch Chandler's chin, and it's gonna be
exactly. Nice. But like if you by looking at Gaethje's been in so many wars, so I know like he's not gonna get knocked out. So the only way is Chandler like outstrikes him. So the only way most of Gaethje's losses are literally like 5th round KOs. It's like this guy got punched way too many times in the head, and the ref has to stop it. It's like so. And I don't know. I can't really see Chandler doing that. But I wouldn't be surprised if Chandler win. But if I had to pick someone right now, I would say Justin Gaethje. But it's really closer than people would do believe, because Chandler, he's an amazing fighter. And the thing is, if Chandler wins, that would set up perfectly for Islam. So I'd say if Chandler wins, make him fight Islam, and then winner of that gets a title, right? Because there's no way Chandler wins against Gaethje and then gets a title immediately, because so he has to win another one. So if Chandler wins, he fights Islam, winner gets title.
Okay, but let me ask you this: Gaethje wins, he doesn't have to fight.
Gaethje wins. Gaethje wins.
He gets the title.
Justin Gaethje, he gets the title.
Yeah,
he's way more proven than Chandler. So that's why, because Chandler, he just lost, and like you have to wait, and he doesn't have like Justin Gaethje, because obviously we know he lost to Khabib. Like Khabib's one of the greatest, like top 5 greatest fighters of all time. But before that, like Justin Gaethje beat James Vick by KO, and then beat Edson Barboza by KO, Donald Cerrone by KO, Tony Ferguson by KO, and then so he has a good resume.
He has 19 KOs in his career. 19.
Every single one of his fights are crazy. So I'm so excited, because he doesn't fight that often anymore, just because all his fights are absolutely like crazy.
Like, decision twice. He's gone to decision twice, Gaethje.
Yeah. And boy, and if the decisions are like, I think in every time he's fought in the UFC, he's either won by a finish or lost by a finish. So always something entertaining with his fights. So I don't know, but so is Chandler. Before even joining the UFC, Chandler was always like that too. Like his fights were absolutely crazy and like very unexpected. But I've really liked Chandler though, like because Chandler, the way he analyzes fights, and he's very like he's a vet, like he knows how to, the way he fights. He's very like he's all around great fighter. On the ground, he can strike. So, but this mostly would be a striking match. So that's the only thing. I don't know because I know like if he hits Gaethje, it won't hurt as much as like
Gaiji hitting Chandler.
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Because Gaethje, when he hits, like, it
Gaethje.
hits hard, man.
Yeah.
I just don't know if Chandler will be able to keep that up. But
And
it's
he
gonna be
kicks
such
hard too. Hits hard and kicks hard.
it's
So
gonna be a very interesting fight. But don't be surprised if Chandler gets the win here, though, because it's gonna be a
I
good
don't know.
one.
Like, will it go to decision? I don't know.
Like, I
don't
really
know.
don't think it's gonna be a dumb. Like, I don't think any
Gaethje has never
of them is
lost
gonna done.
to decision. So the only time it goes to decision, he wins.
Yeah, but
And-
that was
but he's only
before
been
he joined the
twice.
UFC. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair.
Well, yeah, fair. Because he has 19. Yeah, fair. But I think Gaethje is a knockout artist. He's going to be looking to knock him out. He won't be looking to go 5 rounds, and so expect that from him. And I think that's what's going to happen. If I were to bet something, I bet on a Gaethje, KO or TKO.
If I were to bet, I'd actually bet for Chandler, but I do believe Gaethje's going just because of Chandler's the money line
Yeah,
being because he's
yeah.
such an underdog. But hey, they have such similar stories. They're both before joining the UFC, they're both huge stars. Like they're both huge draws before even ever joining the UFC. They both had like they're the best fighters outside of the UFC for
Yep.
2 different organizations. Like they have similar stories, similar backgrounds. So it's gonna be an absolute crazy fight. And they said it like this is for the fans. Like the fans are gonna have an absolute time watching this fight, and they've been hyping it up.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a barber. It's going to be back and
Yeah.
forth, and someone's getting knocked out. I think it's Chandler. That is my bet. Lock it in. As we move on to the first of 2 belt or championship fights between Rose Namajunas versus Zhang or Weili Zhang for the women's strawweight championship of the world. This is a very close fight, Eric, when it comes to odds. But it's weird because both are under. They're both under 110 around. So they're no one's really a favorite or
Okay, so it's just
underdog.
a 50-50 split. Okay.
Betway 365 has Rose at plus 100. So they have her as an underdog. Just FYI, people are looking for a bet or anything like that. One of them, Betway 365, has Rose as a favorite. I don't know if that's going to change moving towards the fight.
Favorite or underdog, you said?
Underdog, sorry. Over 100 right now. But that's the only one. Everyone else has them under. They expect this to be a very close fight and 50-50. So let's dissect that. First fight was, 78 seconds, I think it was, where she got that head kick and boom to the ground. Done. So you can kind of say that this is the first time they will be fighting, even though it is the second. This will be actually the first time where hopefully it'll make it past 78 seconds, and then we'll start seeing an actual fight. So Eric, for the women's strawweight championship belt, who will it be new or still?
This is a tough one. It's actually a very hard one because on one side, I don't know if I should see last fight as a fluke for Zhang Wenli or as just Rose completely outclassing, because the fight was way too short, and from past experience, we know Zhang Wenli can take a punch. She showed that in the Yona fight that she took like crazy, like over 20. Like we know that like Zhang Wenli can absolutely go to war. So that's why, and it's gonna be crazy if Zhang Wenli wins. Like,
is it kind of crazy too that your name is Eric Zhang, her name is Zhang?
No, we have the same name. Mine is Zhang too.
Whoa. What?
Yeah.
Is that the pronunciation?
No, I just say Zhang, whatever. But
whoa.
Mandarin is Zhang.
I've been saying this all wrong the whole time. Well, what do you mean? You're saying in Mandarin it's pronounced Zhang?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I didn't know that.
Okay,
that's crazy. Eric Zhang. I didn't know that. I'm just going to start calling you that. Oh, my God. What are we doing? Change the show name.
No,
Zhang show.
No,
that's crazy because you're saying Zhang. I'm like, is there 2 ways to pronounce Zhang? Like,
no, because Mandarin, because obviously when you write it, so her last name is Zhang too, right?
Yeah.
But the way in Mandarin, so that's why it's John Jake, right? So.
Oh my God! No, I really thought John Jake was Jon, like John.
No.
Oh my God!
So it's Zhang, right? So
yeah.
But it's also Zhang sounds a lot cooler too, I find. But
it's very
but it's also like everyone,
who doesn't speak Mandarin is gonna say Zhang. Yeah. Wow, I didn't know that's something that's crazy. It's been
but that's
years,
why
I believe
I have a bit of a soft spot for Zhang Weili, obviously, just because like she has the same name as me too, so she's representing
Yeah.
my lap. I don't know if you have the same thing with like Anthony Smith or like, well, you probably don't. You don't feel any connection with like Anthony Smith.
But
No,
it's
none of
another
those.
Smith, the most
No.
common name,
Well,
last name in the United States.
well, Zhang's, I think the most
Zhang.
common name in
Okay, well, yeah, I guess.
China.
Guess so, yeah. No, I don't.
But no, you don't. Okay, but I do feel a little connection. So I'm
But
not
wait, where is she
biased.
from? Is she from China?
China, yeah, she's from
Yeah. So
China.
there. Okay, so that makes sense. You both, yeah, you're both from China. So there you go.
Yeah. So that's
Maybe
why
that's
it's
why.
like, but in this fight, it's gonna be. Oh, I have no idea. It's gonna be a really good fight. I hope it goes deep into the rounds, right? Because that'd be
Yeah.
entertaining. Like, but Rose is an absolute killer. Like Rose, the way she strikes, and she's with the same coach as Justin Gaethje and Kamaru. So Trevor Whitman, who's a
Yeah, Trevor Whitman. Yeah.
fantastic coach, and if this guy goes 3 for 3 that night, it's gonna be crazy. But
I mean, yeah, very
he
crazy.
could,
I mean, yeah,
most of his fighters,
Rose, you said, or no,
yeah, Rose and Kamaru.
Rose and Kamaru, yeah, those three.
So
yeah, I mean that's yeah.
But the thing with this fight is, if I had to bet, I'd say Rose, just because of you said she's a bit of like, I feel safer
Well,
with
no,
betting
I
on
think
Rose.
they're both like
50-50.
under, like you're not gonna make a big profit if you bet on either one of them. More like it's more of a parlay play. But yeah, Rose right now has better like favorited odds. Like she's the favorited, but they're still both very close.
Okay, but yeah, so I feel like the safe pick would be to say Rose, just because I feel like Rose should be a bit of a favorite in this fight. Like I'd say 60-40, she should be a favorite. But I don't know, like if Zhang, because before losing to Rose, like Zhang didn't lose, like she looked unbeatable. So that's why I feel like she could be that like she's the fighter that Rose have beaten and the fighters that Zhang has beaten, like they've been the same amount of, they both beat Andrade, they both beat Joanna Jędrzejczyk. So if I had to,
Eric, I'm looking at some of the odds right now, actually.
Yeah.
Some new odds. No, I was wrong. Actually, a lot of them have Zhang Weili as the favorite right now. But
as a favorite,
the odds are very close. Like, let me look at some under 115, Zhang, under 105 for Rose. And it's kind of been similar, under 122, under 110, 114, 107. Like for most of these betting places, they have her as the favorite right now, even though Rose is the current champ.
Exactly. So that's why I said I'd bet on Rose, but if I had to pick, I really want to say John, but I'd probably bet on Rose. But I believe like next week we would talk about Zhang Weili winning the fight.
Okay. So I'm gonna make my prediction. I think she's gonna win it. Zhang Weili. Yeah, I think she's completely changed her training camp. She has Henry Cejudo now, training partner with her, and so we know that they're practicing a lot of wrestling and getting down and stuff. And we know Rose has good takedown defense, but we said the same thing about Yan. We expected Glover not to be able to do it, and then we can't expect Rose not to be taken down.
Exactly.
I mean, so if Zhang Weili gets to the ground with Rose, I mean, she's been practicing with Henry Cejudo. We could see a couple submissions maybe happen, and then I think that's why she is as a favorite right now, is because of the her training change and everything like that.
Because when you look at Zhang Weili, she gives you like,
and she cut her hair too. She looks like Henry Cejudo.
And kind of like Rose too. Like the haircut changes everything. It makes you look more badass too.
Yeah.
So what's kind of crazy, like those sturdy fighters that just like good wrestling, like good like we thought, like Pure Yan, like just like Volkanovski, like you don't have to be too tall, just like a sturdy, like strong for your weight class, like, and you can get you can take down people and like you can strike. Like those are the fighters that excel in the UFC most of the time, right? And like we're starting to see a huge switch in like being able to defend, take like.
Yep.
There's a huge switch, like especially with Hamza and Islam, but like you don't have to be elite at grappling, but just being able to like being sturdy. You know what I mean? Like it's I don't know. I understand, but yeah.
But on the feet, Rose probably has the advantage. She's probably the more technical fighter, which we all know. But I've sat here last week and said the same thing, and I was wrong. Like if this could get to the fight, if this could get to the ground, then
especially with Henry Cejudo.
yeah, we could see her win it on the ground, but she's got to get there. She cannot
Exactly.
expect to win this fight
Yeah.
trying to outstrike her, outstrike Rose. It's not going to happen. So I really do expect she knows this, and I really expect her to push forward that plan to get her to the ground, and we're definitely going to see a few takedown attempts, and that's what's going to happen in my opinion. I think she's going to get the upper hand if she gets her to the ground, which I think she will.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take Zhang Weili. I put her in my parlay too, but it's weird though that I look at that bet 365 bet for Rose at over 100 underdog. So I don't know. That looks pretty good too.
Yeah.
I mean, the only bet to have over something, you know. So looking at that, and we'll see what happens. It's gonna be a good fight, but that's what I expect. So let's move on to the main event of the evening: Kamaru Usman versus Colby Covington. Eric, very anticipated rematch. As we know, in the first fight, Colby Covington's jaw was broken by Kamaru Usman, and he got the TKO in the 5th round, gave him the belt. Can Usman, Eric, continue his run at the GOAT status in the welterweight division? Well, do you think so?
Of course, of course. Because oh my god! But this is gonna be such an the UFC just loves giving us good fights, eh? So
yeah,
this is why I love the UFC. There's always especially this month, 2 times.
Dana, he loves that money. He's money hungry.
Exactly.
He'll throw anything out.
And the fighters are down for it. So
yeah.
Oh my god, this fight's gonna be amazing. Like whoever wins is gonna be an amazing fight because there's no way someone's getting knocked out in the first. It's gonna be a long fight.
It's gonna be a good fight.
And there's no way someone's gonna give up to when you said Yan kind of bro, there's no way someone's going to
oh yeah, Colby Covington's jaw was broken,
exactly.
And he fought.
Exactly. And I kind of the thing with Colby is a lot of people hate him for it. Obviously he's putting on an act, right? Yeah. Everyone knows you have to see what he does as an act, as an entertainment, because this is what his story is. Before the Damian Maia fight, UFC, they said they're gonna cut him. They don't like the way he fights because he's a wrestler, right? They didn't like. And then he beats Damian Maia, destroys him, and then he starts calling everyone names. Everyone, Brazil, you. So obviously everyone starts hating on him. But UFC's like, whoa, hey, that's making money. And then
Donald Trump being president, then
so now he's a bigger name, and now he's a big draw for the UFC, huge draw. So obviously he had to continue his act, but on the side, he's still he's if you take away all that, the act might also help, but I don't think it's gonna get Kamaru's too solid. I don't think it's gonna get too much his head. But if you look at Colby Covington as a fighter, one of the best wrestlers in the UFC right now, so there's almost no way this goes to the ground because Kamaru and Colby are the best. Well,
that's what we saw in the first round. They nullified each other, the wrestling aspect. But I expect it's gonna get to the ground eventually. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So you think it's gonna get to the ground? And
I think Colby is gonna shoot for a takedown.
Or something. Who do you think he's gonna do better on the ground? Because
I don't know. They're both equally as good to each other. So if Colby can get on top somehow, and it's not. I'm not expecting both of them to go to the ground and it's gonna 4 minutes they're gonna be there or anything like that, right? It's gonna go to the ground, and one of them, whoever initiates a takedown, is gonna try and get a few shots on the ground and pound or something. And then it's they're gonna get back up or anything, something like that. But it could very much stay on the feet, but I think it's gonna go. I think at least someone's gonna shoot for a takedown, and we're gonna see some ground game aspect. But continue with your analysis here, Colby Covington.
No, just continue on what you're saying. I don't know if Colby would shoot just on the fact that Colby's a strong. He's a big 170-er.
Yeah.
But Kamaru's huge for once. This guy's
jacked.
Absolutely jacked for 170. So that's the only reason. But I don't think Kamaru's gonna want to take Colby down because Colby on the ground, he doesn't want to get submitted. And in terms of striking, it's tough because Colby, his endurance, he has one of the craziest endurance.
Yeah, they both do. I mean, they
both do have crazy endurance. Yeah. So when you go to the striking, I believe Colby probably, it's weird because they literally have the same fighting style. It's just, it's just on the night, who comes more prepared and who wants it more, right?
Yeah.
But I just see Kamaru as maybe a bit stronger, but Colby a bit faster, right? So it's really in terms of, is Kamaru gonna be able to do more damage than Colby? Because in the first fight, Kobe actually, if he stuck out for the 5th round, it was probably gonna be a split decision for someone. So there's almost no way it was gonna be it was gonna be a super close fight, right?
Yeah.
But obviously, I'm not gonna lie, it was probably a bit of an early stoppage after rewatching it a couple of times because Kobe was still there. The same thing happened in the Charles Oliveira fight against Michael Chandler. Like Charles Oliveira, obviously he was down like that, but he was still good. But it wasn't a terrible stoppage, but it was a bit early. So in this fight, I just feel like Kamaru has shown so much in his last few fights. He finished Jorge Masvidal. He finished Gilbert Burns, right?
Jorge again.
Jorge again.
For the first time.
Yeah. And then before that beat Kobe. So as a champion, Kamaru has shown that he has been elite. And before, like after he joined Trevor Whitman too, who's an amazing striker, because that's what he needed too. Because he obviously everybody knows he's a good grappler. So he just had to get better at striking. Trevor Whitman, since he's been with Trevor Whitman, he's been winning.
Yep. And
he's been finishing people. So that's why Kobe Covington, he did change up his team. So it's tough because he's only had one fight since the Kamaru fight, and it was against Tyron Woodley, and it was an amazing performance. But a lot of people have beaten Tyron Woodley too, like Gilbert Burns beating Vicente Luque.
Yeah.
So
Jake Paul.
I don't know. Jake Paul. So it's not that crazy of a test, right?
No.
So that's why
you have Kamaru.
I probably have Kamaru as a pretty heavy favorite, but Kobe, man, oh my God, you can't sleep on Kobe. You cannot sleep on.
No,
Kobe.
you cannot. This is what I'll say. Why I was saying that I think it might go to the ground is because Kamaru, like you said, has changed his camp. They both have, and now he's with Trevor Whitman, who's a very well-respected trainer in the UFC, who deals, with a lot of striking. And Kamaru's trying to get his striking better, which it has, as we saw with the one-punch knockout to Jorge Masvidal as a KO. So this is what I think. Usman he won against Colby Covington, fought Jorge once, Gilbert Burns, and then Jorge again. So he's fought 3 times. I put 4 there. I'm Tom Brady now. No, 3 times, whereas Colby fought once, Tyron Woodley, like you said. From the first fight against Colby Covington, Kamaru's striking has already improved insanely. It's incredible how much his striking has improved. So this is why I don't trust Colby Covington standing up. If he wants to do what they did in the first fight, he's going to get knocked out again. He will get knocked out because Kamaru is even better than he was at striking in the first fight. So I think, Colby, as much as like the character he plays and the persona and, the stupid stuff he says, he's a smart guy. He knows how good he knows Kamaru's striking is getting better and stuff like that. Whereas he has not been able to get as many fights and opportunities as Kamaru has since their first fight. So I think he knows that. And I said this months ago when we were like talking about this fight that I really think he's going to shoot for a takedown or he's going to try his wrestling aspect, because if he tries to fight him, he's going to get knocked out. And I think Kamaru is going to win, but do I want Kamaru to win? Not at all. I do not want Kamaru. I want Colby Covington to win because, first of all, I want a third fight. Obviously, everyone wants that third fight. And second of all, how funny would it be if Colby Covington was new welterweight champ? I mean, that'd be hilarious. Exactly. This guy is playing the villain character perfectly in the UFC right now. Everyone's like hating on him and stuff like that when he goes to the UFC weigh-ins or the conferences. He's getting booed and stuff like that because he wears his Trump hat and everything like that.
I don't think he gets booed because of Trump.
No. Well, it's just because he's the villain. But some people might not like him because of that, obviously. But first of all, what's he gonna do? Like, I don't know. Colby Covington's like fighting to stay relevant, in my opinion. Like Donald Trump is out of office. That character is like slowly declining, and everyone can kind of see he's throwing on this act. And if he loses to Kamaru, his arch nemesis in this division, twice, 2-0, like I don't know. I don't think he could like play off this act and I'm this villain and stuff where you lost 2 fights to the champ. So like his character / identity that he plays right now is on the line, in my opinion. And I don't see him knock it like. It's going to go to the distance for sure, in my opinion, but I don't see going it. He's not going to win by decision, and I don't think he's going to knock Kamaru out. That'd be crazy, but
I think he's going to go to the decision, and then Kamaru might win by decision, and then Colby can continue.
Yeah, or he's going to knock him out in the 4th, 5th round again. I feel. but I feel like it's not going to be a standing. It can't be. It cannot be. Colby knows this. The trainers know this. Kamaru's striking has improved so much that we saw it with Jorge. Jorge, bad motherfucker, that guy.
Yeah.
And one
never
punch
got knocked out before.
One punch and he was out cool. And so it's true. Usman, he could throw a punch now. So Colby knows that, and that's why. So I don't know. I do know. I expect Kamaru to win, but I want Colby Covington to win.
Colby won, that would be crazy. And if there's one person in the division that could be Colby Covington, Kamaru is Colby Covington.
Colby Covington.
I think it goes in terms of tier. It's literally just Kamaru 1A and then Colby 1B. Like, I think Colby beats anyone else in the welterweight division other than Kamaru, and the same can be said the other way, because Colby Covington. This is why everyone's been anticipating, because Kamaru, huge favorite against Gilbert Burns, huge favorite against Jorge Masvidal. But against Colby Covington, like, this actually be a really close fight. And if Colby Covington did win, that would be crazy. And
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's why I wanted to.
Flip the world upside down if you want.
I'm rooting for Colby Covington. Like, I'm rooting for the villain this time. Okay. I want him to win. I want a third fight just for that anticipation and the sport. And I would find it hilarious if he was the new welterweight champion and took it from Kamaru, who's literally trying to become the welterweight GOAT. He's literally on this course to try and beat GSP's GOAT status. So for Colby Covington to destroy that'd be crazy. That'd be insane. And for him to be champion, I would love to see that. So I'm going to be rooting for Colby Covington this fight. I do think Kamaru is going to win though, but like I said, I want Covington to win. So and to like, Usman is a under 300 favorite, whereas Covington's over 240.
That's not that big of it. That's not that insane.
No, that's not insane. So listen, if we want to talk about parlays and stuff like that, and because the UFC, you don't bet straight up. That's like you're not going to make any money betting straight up in the UFC because the odds are just way too one-sided. So you got to create some parlays. So if I were to give a parlay right now, I would say Frankie Edgar's in my parlay because he's an underdog right now, and I think he'd win. So I can make some money off those odds right now. And then after that, it gets tough because then you have Justin Gaethje, who's a favorite, and then Zhang Weili, who's a favorite, considering right now that she's not even the champion, she's a favorite, and then you have Uzman, who's a favorite. So I don't know what that payout would look like. If you want to, bet on the Shane Burgos and Bill Corandillo fight, go right ahead. If I honestly had to pick, I'd probably take Shane Burgos, but don't take my word for that fight. But Frankie Edgar, Justin Gaethje. If not, you put a bet on Justin Gaethje for a knockout. And if you want to make some money on a single bet, that's one bet I would look at. But I'd put him in my parlay with Zhang and Uzman. That would be my parlay. Because in the UFC, you have to have favorite. Like how many underdogs are going to win in a card realistically in a UFC? Like in a card, how many, like from the main card, how many underdogs are going to win?
Usually it's like
1 out of 5, maybe 1 out of 4.
1 out of 5 would win.
Something like that.
So sometimes it happens pretty commonly. I remember when I had a 4-5 parlay, it was with Dustin Poirier and Gilbert Burns. Like, I had 2 underdogs and I won that bet. So obviously I made a lot. So that's why in this fight.
So who would your parlay be like?
So it'd be tough because for your
Frankie Edgar, Marlon Vera.
He's an underdog.
Yeah, Marlon Vera's a favorite.
Okay. The only thing with Frankie is he is 40 years old. So I don't I'm basing myself off Frankie.
I don't know. Well, Marlon Vera's he is young. He's like 28 or something. I forget.
Yeah, he's born. I think he's like 29.
Yeah, or something like that. So
So I'd probably go Frankie Edgar.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'd go. Justin Gaethje. I have to go Justin, but that one's close because I like Chandler as an underdog. But I'd probably go Frankie Edgar, Justin Gaethje, and then Zhang Weili.
Oh yeah,
that's who I'm probably gonna bet on that. Actually, that might be my.
It's just tough because I wouldn't, if Chandler won, I wouldn't be shocked, but I'd be like, wow, okay, not the one I expected to be wrong. It's the women's where I like, we don't know. It could go either way. I mean, all these fights can go either way, but the one I'm like not too sure about is Rose and Weili, because Gaethje, I feel like the kicks and the chin you were talking about, and the knockout power and stuff like that, and he's the highlight reel, right? So he's gonna put on a show. I think he's gonna come out the win, and then Usman Covington. Yeah, I think Kamaru's going to win, but not rooting for him. Still going to bet on him though. But it's a win-win situation in my opinion, betting on that fight.
Fair.
So yeah, so there you go. You have a couple parlays if you want to look at, make some money, because straight up betting in the UFC is just dumb. I wouldn't do it. Wouldn't unless it was like, I mean, you would have to put a lot of money like on.
But you can throw some KOs in there, submissions, right?
Yeah, but like if you want some player bets, like player props, Gaiji knockout, I would say like Usman knockout. Maybe
I can see John Whaley decision.
Zhang Whaley submission. I don't know. I wonder what that bet is like. I wonder what that bet. Probably not very. Probably a lot though, because I don't think they expect a submission ending, which could happen if they get to the ground, like a rear naked choke or something. But we'll have to see. Time will tell. Time will tell. Unfortunately, next week we do not have another UFC 269. UFC 269 we'll have to wait for a little bit in December because next week, literally the first week of November, is UFC 268. So we'll have to wait pretty much a whole month until the next match. But yeah, we'll figure something out to talk about. Don't worry. Yeah, so that's been another episode of the Chtib Zhang Show, episode 44. Thank you for listening on Spotify. Join us watching on YouTube. Yeah, it's been a recap of UFC 267 and looking forward to UFC 268. It's gonna be fire. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Gonna watch this live, and yeah, we're gonna make some bets. Hopefully, make some money, and then next week we'll see if we came out winners or losers. But until then, please enjoy UFC 268 as much as we will, and we'll see you in the next episode. Peace. Roll the outro.